Hey everyone. Uh, so I thought of doing something here because I did a run video of this guy, the JJRC Willy's Jeep that I repainted to look like kind of like an old military Jeep that somebody took and redid. I actually have a stock one, so I have a version of both. And as I was watching the video, it got me thinking. So originally, when I redid this guy, I had these wheels and tires, the Injora rims and All-Star Hobby tires, which I really like the look of. They're not too thick, they're nice and thin. But then I thought they were too big for this. And the reason is they were heavy and big and they were getting caught up. And that's because originally this thing comes with this dog bone kind of rear suspension and it just kept popping out all the time. So now that I've put a better drive shaft in, I thought maybe I should put these wheels back on here and these, which are some AliExpress no name jobbies, but you know, firm enough tire. They've got a foam in it. Um, they're breathable or vented, I guess I should say. And they're a bigger tire, and I thought they looked a little cooler on here than these smaller ones. Although problem is I like this vehicle a lot, the MN128, and I like these rims and tires a lot. And since I took them off of here and I thought I'd put some smaller ones on, I was kind of forcing myself to put them on here and telling myself they look good. And I don't mind them. But on this one, I guess with the black and having the black on it, it just makes it look a little bigger and meaner. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take these off and swap these out. Now, with these going on here, they're going to require an adapter. So let me get the wheels out of here. My microphone. I'm going to swap them out real quick. It will not take long. And so you've got your 12 millimeter hex, and this is an adapter. It's a 12 millimeter adapter down to a 5 millimeter, which is what you will need for WPL, MN stuff. There's a lot of stuff. So I've got them on here. And what else was it? This with a JJRC. And I'm sure there's other models out there that I'm missing. I believe, yeah, the MN, WPL, and JJRC. So just so you get a quick look as to what these are going to look like. Back on here, and this is a 7 millimeter hex that goes on here because these are held on with a nut. These are held on with a screw into the center of the shaft. So let me move this guy over a little bit. So I think you look there, you get an idea of the look, right? Again, love these tires and rims. I love the way they look. Everything you get this big a lot of the time is fat. They're a nice width. I'm going to try and remember how wide they are and if it says it on here somewhere, which I don't think it does, but I will put a link for these. I had a link for them on the old video. So you know what, if you go to the old video of this, you go back a few months, you'll see that a picture of this with these tires on it, and the link will be there for you. So I think it really, let me do it really, really fast. It gives it a good look. Again, it's already got so this one, this MN doesn't have a 5, it's got the 12 millimeter hex on it with a pin. And I'm thinking now, the more that I think about it, it depends on the MN. I think the MN, like the 82s, the pickup trucks, the 82 and the 82S and that, I believe, just drop my nut here. Hang on, give me a sec to find it. Okay, I'm back. as usual, you drop something and it's never within the area where you heard it hit. It's always 15, 20 feet away under something. So there's this one. That's what that's going to look like, which I think is a much cooler look, especially when you got Lemmy from Motorhead driving your truck through his base in the back there. So it's that compared to this, and I think it looks better. Gives it a bit of a wider stance. You can see there, which is fine, and it adds a nice bit of weight. These things are heavy. You know what? I'm going to get my scale. I remember where I put it. And I'll remind you guys, I know I weighed them at one point on here, doing something. So each of these wheels are 170 grams. So that's some nice weight for this thing. They used to have, the wheels that came on it are smaller and lighter, and they used to have one on the back here. And you know what? I might throw it back on. I'm not sure, but it helps with the weight distribution, taking it off. So I just put a jack back there, and these wheels, let me make sure, are 80, 88, 89 grams. So I keep hitting my microphone, sorry. Not a huge bunch of weight, but for this it was more the look of it. That's what I wanted with that one. Okay, so there's that. I'll put the other two on the other side so I'm not sitting here boring you guys with all this stuff. And then for this guy, so this is a, they normally come with a Phillips head. I'm using I put new screws, well they're bolts I put in actually, because the other ones were darker and I wanted them to match this, the aluminum look of this rim. So I think what I'm gonna do is I might want to use some black. Come on, let's come out of here. Let's go. Okay. So there, if you look, you got your 5mm hex. This is going to go into one of these. So you get these adapters, right? So again, 12 down to a 5mm. And what this will do too, that doesn't pull it out that much. So it's going to give it some good ride height, because now on the bottom of this, if anybody buys one of these, it's got a little plate. I thought I had it around here somewhere. I don't think I do. But it's got a little gearbox cover that goes across here, and it drops it down. And to me, it just grabs on stuff. So let me put this back in. I'm going to use the same little screw here, although I've got myself thinking twice. Now, one tip on these things, if you do replace the screws from stock, I had to cut these down, because if you put them in too long, it'll go and it'll push in, and it'll just push the little hex on the inside right off of the axle, because you're going to hit the axle itself. And I stupidly did that, not thinking how long the screws were. Right? So let me see how this looks in there with the silver nut. You see, and this one isn't long enough. So hang on a second. I'm going to go grab some black ones, little longer ones, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I went to my junk drawer of screws, which I think the majority of people in this hobby have, and I couldn't find anything with an Allen or a hex head. So, and of course now I can't find a screwdriver to put this in with. I'll have to use this little cheapie. I don't know where I put my other screwdriver. All right, so I got a Phillips head, but it's a darker, it's a brown, it's brown, but I guess it's black screw. These tires are non-directional, which I kind of think is neat. Just throw them on. And let's see. This screwdriver stinks. You can still see the screw a bit, but it's not as bad as the bright one. Okay, come on. I'm beginning to think these aren't thick enough. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to break it. All right, third time is the charm. I think that was 3 times. So I had to go with a Phillips screw, and it's a little darker, so it's looks a little better. I found my trusty screwdriver I needed. So let me get this front one off, and we can see what these look like, because I really would like everybody's opinion as to what goes where. I think I know what I'm liking. Let's see what happens. Okay, so putting my adapter in, got my wheels on, got my new screw, it's thick and long enough. And these rims, I believe they did, came with a little, see it? A little washer with a little bit of a lip on there. So that way your screw doesn't slide down into the rim, and then your wheel will just come right off because there's nothing holding it onto the hex, the adapter on the inside. So let me get this in there. You know what? There. Come on. You know, I said this before and I'll say it again. When I'm doing this stuff off video, everything just goes perfectly smooth. As soon as I start recording, all of a sudden I got issues putting a screw in. Okay, so I don't want to go too tight. There we go. Okay, so let's start talking about what we like. So I've got this, and what I did was previously on this one is I had shaved down the back corner because it came down to let me use my finger pointer. Came down to a point like that, and it was rubbing badly. So I just took a file and I curved it. It helps now. Okay, so there's that look, or that look on this guy. And you can see the amount of height. I think you can anyway. The amount of height it gives it. It's probably, I gotta tighten that, or is it just loose? The knuckles loose. So it's a good ½ inch, I would say, ½ inch, maybe ½ inch in height, ride height, which I think is going to be helpful. And I'll tell you what I like. I like these Enduro and All-Star tires on here compared to the WPL ones I have. Now that I look at it, so let me know which ones you like better on that. So I guess that'll be number 1, and that'll be number 2 on the Willy's Jeep, and on the, I guess this is like a Rubicon or Wrangler combo kind of thing here. Let me move this guy out of the way. And then for the MN128, I've got that. or that. And you'll notice as well, it gives it a little bit of ride height. I guess this is more a 1/4 inch than as well. So it gives it a bit of ride height and just makes it look a little chunkier. So on the MN128, we've got 1 or 2. I'm liking these, so I'm liking these combos right here. Everybody can see that. That's what I'm liking. So you let me know if you think otherwise. Again, these will work on here now. I'm going to get a little bit of rub, but it's rounded off, so it's going to move along nicely. This thing does not have a massive turning radius. This one, by any means, you can't adjust it, but no big deal. I'm trailing with it. Okay, let me know what everybody thinks. Before I go, I finished the video, I said my goodbyes, and I'm going to clip it off and do this. So I was looking at the leaf springs on this guy, and stock they're plastic, right? And I think it gives you a lot of bounce. So what I did was I'd ordered some leaf springs that I thought would fit, not realizing the ones I needed, the main leaf spring needed like a loop on the end to hold it. And I don't think these are made of a good enough metal that I can make a little loop on the end, and then they'll be too short. So what I did was, if you'll notice, on this one here, I took one of the metal helper springs, and I just undid these screws. I slid it in, put it back in. I've kept the plastic main spring, but if you can see, it's long enough. It's almost the same length. So if you look at it now, it is a lot more firm. I gotta get this Jeep out of the way, man. I need a bigger bench. So if you look at this side without it, it doesn't have much bounce back. Not that it really needs to. And on this new one, it's a little firmer. And I kind of like that, because it's going to help with some of the rub. So what I'm going to do is I got 4 sets of these, so I'm going to take the helper spring out of them and put them on each one, and I might do it on the one that I have that I've left stock. I'm not sure right now, but I think with this one I will, because it's going to help and keep it up a little more. Okay, so there you go. So there's a tip if you want to do that. Let me get a little closer so you guys can actually see it if you can. So there's the metal helper spring. I'm going to put it up here, and it does give it a nice, like this just feels like loose. This gives it a nice bounce to it. So, or firmness, I should say. Which it's going to affect how it drives. I don't know. I'm doing it. I like it. Okay, guys, like, subscribe, comment, share. Thanks a lot.